Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to A Penny's Game Room.
Right, welcome back. This is the second part of my restoration video. Now, let's have a quick look at the motherboard. It's actually come up quite nice. It's all shiny again. All I've done is just went over the really dirty parts with the isopropyl. The cartridge slot, as I said, I had a bit of cotton, and that was basically, I cut up an old white t-shirt and I wrapped it around a credit card, put some of the alcohol in it so it was slightly damp, not wet, just slightly damp, and then I went up and down on the cartridge slot there with the credit card, just pushed it in and out and got all the grime out of it, and then give it a quick once over with compressed air. Now, I'm not going to show you the Megadrive, the rest of it, just yet. I'm going to try and keep it semi-hidden for the end so you can see the end result, and then you'll be able to compare it with the first video to see how much or what the difference is like between the two from start to finish. Now, what I'll do is, first is I've got the little buttons and things, and then we've got the first one, which is what the LED shines through. Now that just clips back in like that, just pushes straight down. I don't know if you can see that, there you go, it's gone straight back in. Then we have the reset switch, and what we do is we make sure we've got the reset, if you can see that, the right way around. Good. And then we push it in the front so it pops through the back like that. So that's gone through. Then we do exactly the same with the power switch, and we make sure it's the right way around, and we just push it back in and it should just clip back in place like that. Now the next part, we're going to put the cartridge slot back on. Now I will show you this bit. That's the cartridge slot, all fine and dandy. What I will say is, like I said yesterday, if you're not too confident about taking it apart, because the springs here and at the bottom are a complete bugger to get back in, and I actually proved that myself. It took me 15 minutes to put that back together. Yeah, it's very fiddly. It is. It's not worth doing, to be honest. As I said in the other video, I only did it because it was absolutely filthy. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this bit back on, which just clips in place like that. Then you get your screwdriver, the trusty box, and we want those 3 screws out of there. And then what we do is we just bolt it back down. And I'm not going to put them all away, and I'm going to make sure it's actually lined up nicely before I bolt them down properly. God, I wish I had smaller fingers. God. There we go. All the way down. Now you don't want to over tighten them. Just tighten them enough so that it locks, or you might crack the plastic. Like that. Same with that one. Get that one back down. There we go. And that's the lid reassembled. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move onto the base. Now there's the base. As you can see, it's all nice and tidy inside now. No more dust and grime and things. It's cleaned up nice. What I will do actually is we'll put that back on for now, because that doesn't need to be off. Now what we do is we take the bottom shield, which is that one, and then it should just drop right into place. It'll align itself because of all the pegs. Then we take the plastic holder for the cartridge slot, and you've got your two pegs there, and it'll only go on one way. You just line it over the pegs like that. It's not a very difficult thing to do. It should go on quite easily. Then what we do is we take the board and we go in front first and line the joystick port up. It should just slot down and then just slowly lower the board back in. Like that. It should just fall into place. If I get it right. Come on, you pig. Is that right? Like that. There we go. It's lined up nicely. See the front there? That's back in place. It's nice and rock solid. And then what we do is we get our two screws. There's one. There's two. These are the ones for holding the board to the base, and these ones are slightly longer. And we just put one in there, put one in there, and then we screw them down like that. Same as before, don't over tighten them. Once the lock, that's it. It should be fine. Now, once you're at this part, what you need to do is put the top shielding back on. And as I said in the video yesterday, be careful with this stuff. It's extremely sharp, and I find that out myself by putting a split in my finger, and it's like a deep paper cut, and it's been irritating me for the last day or so. So what we need to do is we'll turn that around, and then it should just line straight up. Just bend the flap down there. It should just drop right over. Come on. Like that. Right. A bit looks a bit out. There we go. Get down the pig. Right, there we go. That's lined up now. Now, what we do is we take our other screws, which are these ones. Right, and then we just screw this back down. Same as before, I'm not going to tighten them all up. I'm going to go around and I'm going to make sure they're all lined up before I actually tighten them completely. And oh good, and big finger strikes again. I'll actually use this to put them back in there. Right. That's that one. That one's a bit the same as well, so that's that one. There we go. One here. That. And we've got one here. Start screwing that down. We'll get that one screwed in as well. Like that. Now this one, oh yeah, I ain't even going to attempt to get my fingers down there. Like that. Then the last one goes in there like that. All screws lined up nicely. Now we'll just tighten them off, but not too tight, just till the lock. That's all you need. You don't want to crack the board. That's almost there. Just one more after this, and then that's the shielding and the board back down. There we go. Now all we have left is the 4 outer screws, which is that one, come on, can't get my bloody fingers in, nice, and those 2. And then what we do is we line up the top, and it should just slide right over nicely. There we go, like that. Then we just pop our 4 screws back in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All I'm doing now is same as before. I'm not over tightening. Once they'll lock, that's about as far as I'll put them. I'm not going to force them. Like that, and dirt off the bloody tablecloth. Well, bits of cotton, sorry. Right. Now, this is the completed Megadrive with a bit of fluff on it off the tablecloth. I just need a quick wipe down. But you'll soon see when I turn it round what's happened to it. There we go. Now what I'll do is I'll explain what I've done and I'll summarise it. Basically the heat, the RF shielding wasn't in such a bad state, so I didn't even bother running that under the tap. All I've done with the RF shielding is just went over it with some compressed air. Motherboard, I went over the motherboard with compressed air. There's a couple of stubborn parts which the air wouldn't pick up, so what I did was I dipped a cotton bud into the isopropyl and just give it a gentle rub and went over the board with that as well. Then for the cartridge slot, as I said, I just cut up an old white t-shirt, wrapped it around the card, dampened the two sides so it's damp on both sides of the cloth where the card was going in, not wet, just slightly damp, and just push it in and out of the cartridge slot, and it picked up all of the muck and dirt. Then with the bottom and top sections and the switches and things, they all went into warm water with a bit of bubble bath and was scrubbed, well, washed with a microfiber cloth. The awkward parts, well, that was done with a toothbrush, just a gentle scrubbing. Then after all that was finished and it was dry, what I've done is oh, excuse me, what I've done is I've went over the Megadrive itself. I used another microfiber cloth and put a bit of WD-40 on it and went over the Megadrive casing, and basically what that does is gives it its nice little sheen, and it's brought it up lovely. Now all I need to do is get an adapter and an S-video cable and test it out. And the missus has kindly ordered me the video cable and the adapter that she found on eBay as a present. So hopefully by the end of the week they'll be here and I'll be able to hook it all up and show you it working. Now I'm going to do all this live. I'm not going to test it before, and I'm just going to plug it all in, turn the camera on, and we'll see what happens. And if it's not working, well, we'll have to do a repair video like I said in the other one. But there you go, there's the finished article. As you see the cartridge slot there, it's nice and clean. The Megadrive itself it's a different Megadrive. It's seen a new lease of life, and that's how we restore a Sega Megadrive. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.